Hello everybody and good morning. Well, I'm Lost Brit and today I'm going to be taking you on a journey to a different Spanish city. Okay, so we're going to go to Zaragoza. Okay, now Zaragoza is about maybe 3.5 hours drive from Valencia. Okay, we're going to be trying out BlaBlaCar today as well. So this is like a ride-sharing app you can use in Spain. I've had a couple of interesting experiences with this app, or sort of in my time in Spain. One being my journey here, but yeah, let's hope it all goes well. We'll see what happens. But yeah, the weather's not that great today actually. It's a bit of a shame, as you can see. But then again, it is only just after 7 o'clock in the morning. It's starting to rain a little bit here in Valencia, but hopefully it will improve, and the sun and that beautiful Spanish hot weather will come out in Zaragoza. So yeah, excited to show you Zaragoza. I think there's going to be some really beautiful things there from what I've seen anyway. Online I've never been, but yeah, I think there's going to be some plenty of beautiful things to find, have a look at in Zaragoza. So on that note guys, in the rain, vamos! Okay guys, so we're in the centre of Zaragoza now, okay, and just enjoyed a bit of, well, spot of, let's say, brunch rather than breakfast or lunch. So what is it? Only 11 now. Okay, the BlaBlaCar went superbly, no problems with that today, so that was really good. Erin is still enjoying hers, a little nibble. She did specifically say she didn't want to be eating on camera, but I've caught her, so, and she's still got a smile on her face as well, so there we go, that's good. Yeah, so we're going to have a look around Zaragoza. I'm really excited for this one actually. Zaragoza is, I think, the 5th biggest city in Spain. Okay, it's not by the beach or anything, it's more in the centre. It's like the capital of the region of Aragon. But it looks like a really historical city, let's say. Okay, there's been people, I don't know if you'd say living here, but there's been stuff happening here for kind of well over a couple of thousand years. And yeah, we're going to have a look at that today. So we're going to go and discover some of these sites. There's some really historical places around the centre which I'm looking forward to taking a look at and showing you. And on another note, obviously I said Cien Montaditos. Okay, so Cien Montaditos is this, I suppose you could call it a bar. I'm not sure what you exactly are going to call it in English, but yeah, something like a bar. I recommend it if you're a foreigner, because you'll find one of these kind of pretty much every city, even town that you'll go to. They're really cheap, you know what you're going to get. I mean, if you go on a Wednesday or on a Sunday, every food item is just going to be €1, okay? So this is my recommendation, just generally, nothing to do with Zaragoza. Check out Cien Montaditos if you are a foreigner and you don't want to, for instance, go to, well, something different anyway. You don't find these in the UK, you won't find it in Lithuania either, okay? So but yeah, let's go and take a look around the rest of Zaragoza. Okay, so this is one of the historical sites that I really want to show you on this video of Zaragoza. Okay, this is called Haferia Palace. Okay, and look at it from outside, it's absolutely majestic, isn't it? What a beautiful, beautiful building. And this is one of the things that I love. Okay, you can find such different architecture in loads of these different places. You can see here outside is the moat outside, what we call it, isn't it? Going around. And yeah, looking forward to getting inside the palace. It's such an amazing, beautiful building, and telling you a little bit more about the history of this place. So from what I can gather about this palace in Zaragoza, okay, it was actually kind of built during some time in the 11th century, okay? And initially, this was actually the home of, what's it called, the Taifa, I think, of Zaragoza, okay, which was like a kind of a Muslim-ruled state, basically independent state here. So it's one interesting thing that a lot of people, maybe, especially if you're from Britain, you might not be aware of, that actually lots of parts of Spain, Zaragoza being one of them, even though it's quite northern, interestingly enough, were at one point ruled by, by Muslim rulers. So it's very interesting. I mean, this place is incredibly beautiful. It's a beautiful, beautiful palace. And you can admire quite a lot of the different aspects of the architecture inside it. Here actually on the wall you can see the different kings of Aragon. Okay, so Aragon is the region which Zaragoza is in. But it looks like the last king was, well, presumably died, or his reign was ended in 1556. So not very recently. But look through this window here, what you can see just outside. Good place to have a concert or something. Here's that beautiful fruiteria, or I don't know what you want to call it, just outside on the other side with all your oranges. Really, really beautiful place. Okay guys, so I wanted to come out here just to talk to you, well, tell you a little bit more about the amazing history of this beautiful palace, Haferia, which is in Zaragoza, of course. The video is on Zaragoza. But yeah, anyway, as I mentioned, actually inside the palace, okay, it was built in the 11th century when this area was under the Taifa of Zaragoza, okay, so under Muslim rule. And maybe, I don't know, you can tell that from the outside, this beautiful architecture is very different, very unique, okay, in Spain. It's, I think, one of like 3 of the best examples, from what I've heard, of, I suppose, Spanish, kind of, you know, Hispano-Islamic architecture you're going to find in Spain. So yeah, it was built originally during the 11th century, but then actually in the 1100s, so in the 12th century, it was conquered by, it was reconquered by the Christians, and for kind of hundreds of years this became the palace, the home of the Christian kings of Aragon. So yeah, gone under some different rulers, but amazing how even kind of pretty much, you know, 1,000 years later, it still retains that original Muslim architecture and style. And yeah, I think, you know, it's an amazing place to visit. One thing I would say, if you are a Brit and you're watching this, if you do come here, which I do really recommend, because it's, you know, I mean, look at it. But one thing I would recommend, talk to the tour guides here. They pretty much all seem to speak English, okay? You're not going to find too much information written down in English outside of the palace, actually inside the palace as well. So yeah, if you need any information, make sure you speak to the tour guides, because they all seem to speak English. So that's the best way you're going to find out some more facts about this. But yeah, let's get off to some other places in Zaragoza. So we're just walking down to our next destination, but I feel like these streets can give you a really good feeling of kind of Zaragoza, okay, especially how it might have been in the past. You know, they're quite relatively narrow streets, but with these, they're quite beautiful actually, apartments built up on the sides. I mean, look at this one here. You can see, look at the style of that old brickwork. It's really beautiful. You can get a really good feeling here. It's really nice. Really like it. Okay guys, so we're just outside the central market here of Zaragoza. If you're in a big Spanish city, these markets are pretty interesting and good, so we'll have a little look, see if we can find anything interesting to buy here. But let's just have a look, take a little look around. Someone wanted to stop here at the, this is what we call it, the fruiteria, I don't know, greengrocers, something like that. So Neringa, what are you looking for?
I'm looking for cherries. I'm gonna buy cherries.
Cherries, yeah. Okay, so you
They
got
look amazing.
2
You
kilos
have to
for
do
€1
that.
here.
They're amazing.
Well, we'll see. We'll let Neringa order cherries. Thought I'd add in a little bit of Lithuanian here as well. So Neringa, okay. Ye nori Vishnu. Okay, she wants some cherries, basically. So yeah, we'll let her order. I don't think she's going to be able to order in Lithuanian though. I've got a feeling these guys won't speak Lithuanian here.
No, vas a ver a poco, que esto está muy bueno, ¿eh?
Sí, pero no quiero llevar muchas más en bolsa.
¿Así? Te quito. 345.
Está bien, está bien. Pago con tarjeta.
¿Algo más?
Pago con tarjeta. Sí, no, nada más.
1,6.
So, just got all the cherries, really not a lot. €1.06, pretty good value I think. Yeah, probably eat them through the day. Okay guys, so literally just here, okay, is, well, it's the old Roman wall of Zaragoza. Okay, so when Zaragoza, I think at the time it was actually called like Cesar Augusto, okay, was actually the name of this town, or well, city. Yeah, this was one of the defensive walls of the city here. Okay, right in the center. So the central market's just there. You can see a beautiful square out here to look at. I mean, but yeah, very historical. I mean, this is over, it's 2,000 years old basically, and you're going to find these ruins in the center of Zaragoza. I can't imagine there's many other major cities like this, you know, where you're going to find such amazing kind of ancient architecture right in the center of it as well. Pretty special. Okay guys, so just behind me here is the Ebro River. Okay, now the Ebro, it obviously goes through Zaragoza, of course. It starts off somewhere in the Cantabrian Mountains, okay, a bit further north in Spain, flows out into the Mediterranean, as you can see here. Ebro River, just outside the centre. Of course, you've got to spot the love locks there, haven't you, on the wall? Wouldn't be a European city without some form of love locks near a bridge to the river. Okay guys, so somebody can't handle the Spanish heat. Neringa's taking a little nap, so but it's a good opportunity because it means I can go literally wherever I want and get back into the city centre, find some of those spots that we haven't seen yet on the video. So vamos. Okay guys, so I wanted to show you a really cool another location in Zaragoza. You can probably see it here, right? Look at here. And I may be thinking, oh, it's some old ruins or something like that. Well, yeah, you'd be right. But basically, these are the ruins of like an old Roman theatre, okay, that you'll find in the centre of Zaragoza. Now, this was built in like the 1st century AD, okay, and it was active until the 3rd century. And something interesting about this Roman theatre was it could hold 6,000 people, okay? So you imagine 6,000 people back at a time when there was only 18,000 people living in the whole of Zaragoza. It's pretty phenomenal, right? So yeah, here it is. They only discovered this actually, I think it was about 1972, the remains, and excavated it then. But yeah, pretty special. You get pretty amazing view, even without even like going into the museum, you know, checking it out. You can see all this from the outside, just walking around the city. Pretty phenomenal, pretty interesting sight, I think, to see, and well worth checking out if you do come to Zaragoza. Okay guys, so this was a point I couldn't miss, okay? It's a really famous bridge in Zaragoza. Okay, so I'm standing on it at the moment, so I'm not sure how much of it you can see from up here. I'm gonna get a couple of shots down there. It's called Puente De Piedra, okay? And this goes over the river. It's a really important bridge for Zaragoza in terms of, I suppose, economic development, not just this region, but also kind of the whole area, the whole country, should I say. So really important bridge. Now this was actually built something like 800 years ago, okay, a really long time ago. It's been damaged sort of in that time since, but rebuilt, and then kind of in the 1700s it was, I think, strengthened into something more like what we see now. And I mean, even though this bridge is so, you know, it's so old, it's been standing for a long time, you still get cars and buses that can travel along it. So, you know, it's pretty strong. But Zaragoza has added a couple more bridges just further along there, and there's another one that way. So yeah, really beautiful bridge. You can get some amazing views, as you can see from around here. So again, another must-see in Zaragoza. So here's that amazing view I was talking about of the Puente De Piedra, and what a beautiful bridge it is, isn't it? I mean, get all that in, check that out. And I think when you see these views and you see this beautiful bridge here, you can really get a really good sense of the kind of immense history of this fantastic city. For someone like me, okay, this is my first time in Zaragoza, but I'm really amazed by kind of how many really preserved historical monuments and historical sites there are, pieces of architecture in this city. Just over there is around the city centre, and you can find so much. It's really fantastic. I think I've got to say as well, you know, as a first-time visitor here, it's not often you hear about Zaragoza. You know, it's what is it, fifth biggest city in Spain, and to be honest, at this point in time, I'm thinking it's quite underrated, because yeah, I don't know many people that have been here, many people that have visited, and I don't know, I'm struggling to see why, because it's a really fantastically beautiful city. So yeah, very impressed with this city so far. Literally just here is the beautiful Cathedral of Zaragoza, I guess, right in the center of the city, in this beautiful square. It truly is beautiful. I mean, it's a really hot day because it's still spring and it's kind of well above 30 here, but yeah, it's really beautiful. Now I'm going to tell you, I've just been in and I was going to show you around it. However, there are signs in there, you know, not to use your camera, not to use, you know, video camera or anything like that, because it's a holy place. Okay, what's the time? It's in 5:45. So yeah, so unfortunately I've not got any pictures or video in there, because, you know, I wanted to respect the kind of laws of, you know, it's a holy place, kind of obey what they're saying. But yeah, it really is beautiful inside, and you can see, I'm definitely allowed to use my camera here. It's amazingly beautiful outside as well. One thing I've also noticed, outside the cathedral, in it as well, there's loads of guys from the army here. But if you can maybe spot a few in their uniforms. I think it's the army anyway, something military based. So yeah, if anybody does know what's going on, I don't know if it's a military day here, or if this is for kind of maybe new recruits or something, or what it is going on. Yeah, if anyone does happen to know, then please leave a note in the comments section. Okay, so right behind me is a really important church again in Zaragoza. Okay, so just over that way you can actually see kind of the top parts of the cathedral. Okay, and here is a church called, what's it called? Well, San Juan De Los Planetes. Okay, now kind of in the shadow a little bit. Oh, someone just smashed the glass over there. Yeah, kind of in the shadow a little bit of the cathedral, but this doesn't make it unimportant. Okay, it's a really important monument, especially for kind of like the whole of Spain. So to get it, kind of put it into perspective, basically, kind of, I don't know, in I think like the 12th and 13th century, the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, okay, came to Zaragoza, and they ordered the construction of a church. Now, there was a church there, I believe, kind of like the church was destroyed in like a fire or something, and after that, this church, well, very similar anyway to what is here, was built in something like the 1600s. Now, it was standing like a kind of different style of church, this is my understanding anyway, for hundreds of years. And then kind of, I suppose around the time of the Spanish Civil War, in the uprising, the anarchists destroyed the church, and then when the firefighters came to put out the fire, they actually shot the firefighters. So after that, obviously this was left there, and then the government kind of later on restored the church to, I suppose, how it looks today. But yeah, that's kind of my understanding, the background of the history of this. It's very important and famous landmark in Zaragoza. So I hope you've enjoyed having a look around and checking out these sites in Zaragoza. To be honest, personally, I've really enjoyed it. I think Zaragoza is a really beautiful city, and yeah, I was really pleased to come here. Now there's plenty of things that I haven't shown you, I guess. Beautiful street like that. Yeah, there's plenty of things that I haven't been able to show you because, you know, it's only a day, and most of these places are around the city centre. However, I hope that I've been able to give you a little flavour of the city and what it's like. So yeah, personally, I really think this is a place to visit if you're interested in things like me, like history, checking out a bit of this very interesting Spanish history and culture. You're going to find a lot of that in Zaragoza. So yeah, highly recommended. And yeah, on that note, guys, adios, Ike, ate, visogero, ciao, papa, bye-bye from Zaragoza.